Good afternoon, my friends. I'm having a conversation with Suzy Kilbanks, and I want to talk to her about her career in modeling. How do you start out? How do you get through it all? It's something that a lot of people aspire to, but there are secrets, and we're going to reveal those secrets today. And I want you to get to know the person who I've gotten to know, who we were just having a conversation. And I think, Suzy, I think you are funny, but let's do the intro first. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me. It's really a privilege. Thanks very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. You are one of the faces that many people have seen over the years. I can imagine that people have seen you out in public and they say, I know you because they've seen you everywhere. You're everywhere. You've been everywhere. And you're one of those faces where people say, I know her, but I can't put my finger on it.
Or you look familiar.
Yes, there's a familiarity to your look.
Yeah.
How did you start?
So the story of starting was, first of all, I was in college and I weighed 180 pounds from all like the late night pizzas and everything. And, I knew somewhere I wanted to be a model, but, I was too big. And people would say to me, oh, you have such a pretty face. And I would go, gosh, what's wrong with the rest of me? Well, I knew what was wrong with the rest of me to be in that game. So, I had a dream, and most girls do, I guess, when they're younger, they have something like that they want to do. So I just decided I'm going to lose the weight. So I consistently ran every day, and I went through crazy eating things like just eating popcorn or just eating chicken or just eating vegetables. And, I just started walking every single day, a mile every single day. And things started to change. So I thought, I have the formula here. I have to keep going. So I was able, and I knocked off 35 pounds. And I went to Wilhelmina Models in New York City. And they were like, can you lose another 15 pounds? And I'm thinking, another 15? You don't know what I've done to get where I am. So I thought, okay, I'll lose another 15. They said, we'll take you, but we really want you to lose those 15 pounds. So, I did, but it took a really long time. But they were kind enough to sign me and take me on. And my first year as a model was like, wow. I mean, you didn't know whether you were a success or a failure. I mean, I would get, say, a booking for Woolworths or JCPenney, and I would be the girl that came out on the set with my pants split up the back because they were all clipped together with clamps or safety pins or something, or the shirt, because I was just always too big. But you can't lose 45 pounds and just have it just go where it's supposed to go. It took a really long time. So, I would get sent home. Like I had a pretty big booking for the New York Times for Stanley Blacker. And I was so excited about this ad. And I get there and I go in the dressing room and I can't get the pants up. And I've got to tell this pretty high-end photographer and all the clients, because there's a lot of them on the set, that the clothes don't fit. And so, get in the room and they all come in and they stand around me in a circle and they go, turn around. I turn around and I see them go, oh God, we can't use her. We can't use her. We can't use her. And I'm thinking, wow, they're going to send me home. And they did. And my agent called me and was like, what were you doing? Were you eating pizzas all week? And I was thinking, no, really, I haven't eaten in a month. But, I lost the job. And that was, so I would go home and I would think, oh, man, what a failure. And then the phone would ring the next day. And it was my TV agent saying, oh, guess what? You just booked an Ultra Bright commercial. So I go, so am I a success because I'm going to get a TV commercial, or am I a failure because the pants didn't fit? So, that's kind of, the beginning of the business. So it was up and down, but somehow there was always a booking for me. Either, they got in a large size pants and they were like, oh, I know, let's book Suzy because she'll fit it. Or when a model is turning late 20s or 30s, they don't want to be pregnant. And I'd be like, I'll do it. I don't care. I'll wear the pregnancy thing. I know, that wasn't a bad thing. So I would take a lot of the jobs that nobody else would. But, I managed through all the years to get bookings, all types of bookings. So knock on wood. And here I am, and I'm still going. It's like, wow, I'm going to be doing this till I'm selling dentures and pens and I don't know, whatever else they can throw at me.
Yeah, it's interesting how we can represent different products at different phases in our life. I mean, when I was younger, and my hair was dark and my beard was dark, that just naturally led to representing certain kinds of products and a certain demographic. Right. And then when I went salt and pepper, the phone stopped ringing, and then I went gray, and the phone started ringing again.
Yes.
But this time I was playing a father and a grandfather and that kind of thing. So it's kind of interesting how our roles change as we change.
Right. Well, I was thinking, from the youthful thing, it's all, bubble gum and Burger King and McDonald's and sodas and beauty products. And then slowly you get to be the mom. And then it's like you have all these great products. Then it starts to shift. And then it's like, your knees ache, it's menopause, it's cardiovascular, it's all these medical things. And you just, you take the work, but you can see the progression of the age of youth to now.
Yeah.
But I mean, I never cared. I just wanted to work. If it was a good product, then I'm in.
I like that. It reminded me of, I remember the actor Brian Dennehy, and he has kind of a guy next door look. Of course, he recently passed away,
Yeah.
but there was a time, I believe it was in the late 80s, early 90s, he was the most working actor in Hollywood because he never said no to a role.
Right.
And it didn't matter. His whole thing, I remember reading an article about him, and he said exactly what you said. I just wanted to work.
I mean, you'll always learn something. You just have to put yourself in the situation. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but you always want to be a working model, a working actor, and even really bad roles can be a good thing.
Yeah.
So, I think that's a good attitude if you want to make it in the business.
Tell me about some of the twists and turns your career has taken.
Let's see. Well, when I was in New York City, I lived in New York City, and there was a lot of work there. Then things started to change. A lot of the catalog houses shut down, and I found myself, renting a car to go to bookings in New Jersey or Connecticut. And so I started to think, maybe I don't need to be here anymore. And then there was a big shift after 9/11, and also, in my 30s was great for mom, selling trash bags and peanut butter and dog food, and 40s and 50s. There was a little lull, I think, in the beginning of the 50s, but now it's kicking in again. Now I'm early 60s, and it's starting to kick in again, and it's kind of good. So I moved from New York City out here to Pennsylvania, where I renovated on the river, and it's really awesome. I mean, I'm a country kid. I just, I every weekend that I was in New York City, I was on the bus home because I just missed the cows and the cornfield and the earth. And then I got a dog, and he hated New York City and refused to pee on pavement. So I kind of had my answer that it was time. It was time to come back home. So so here I am on the river, and when I moved to Pennsylvania, I never knew that there was work out here, local work, and Philadelphia. I could still commute to New York City, and then there was QVC. And that was a wonderful opportunity. I mean, it's been, I think, 16 years that I've been there.
Wow.
And, I'm still going, and that has been a really good place for a woman to get older and still have a purpose in the business. Like, it's not over, Johnny. It's still going.
Wow.
So I have a friend who's 76, and she has a contract with one of the cosmetic companies at QVC, and that's pretty awesome. But we're not dead yet, people.
What a quote. What a quote. It is a great place for a woman to get older and be in the business.
Yep.
Wow.
It made it, easy. It just made it easier. Okay. Here's something, too, that was really interesting. When, you could go on the sets at QVC 10 years ago, and you could basically, be in your 50s and look like you were in your 20s. They had wonderful lighting. And then the cameras went to HD. And that was a whole trip for all of us because we thought, it's over. It's going to have every little detail. It's wonderful for product, but I don't know how it would be for the models. But, they went to airbrush makeup, and, then everything is shifted around, and finally it's just working. But, we all thought it's over now, but it really wasn't. So, I'm hoping, to still be working at QVC for as long as they'll have me. But, it's an acceptable place. And I think our viewer, too, is not what maybe QVC would like to believe, but I believe our viewers are 50, 60, and probably late 70s, and maybe even early 80s.
Yeah, I've seen that. When I put on QVC, often I see your face on there and the Suzy smile that everybody knows. Tell the audience, what if you were not in the mood? You can't always wake up in the mood. You can't always wake up super happy and smiley, but you have to work that day. how do you put on the happy face if you're not feeling happy?
I think that's part of like something that happens inside. Like I have had, when my father passed away in New York City, I had a couple casting directors call my agent and say, what's wrong with her? There's no light in her eyes. And that was really disruptive to me. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm not fooling them. Like I mean, it's happened maybe once at QVC, a heartbreak that kind of took me down, and I really did lose my light, but I'm back now. But sometimes you generate it from the soul. You have to think of something really good, whether it's a memory or something, and you have to know.
Yeah.
Someone who's been in front of a camera, like you have to know what the audience is seeing. What are you selling? What I see girls, models, that maybe do a cutesy thing. There's something not real. There's something not real about it. And I think it's better for the sales if you're natural and real. You're not trying to push anything. You just let the product do its thing, because that's what we are. At QVC, we're a vehicle for the product. That's what we are, whether it's hair or it's beauty or whatever it is. It has nothing to do with me or who I am or my soul or my heart. I'm a vehicle for a product. And so it's my job to make sure that I spike is the numbers, because there are people sitting in the control room and they are watching the numbers of the phone lines. Is it spiking? And they'll say to the host, go back to your first model because we got a big result on that. It's all about numbers. So it's interesting.
They are in real time. They're watching the data as you are on the screen.
Yes.
And if the phones are ringing and orders are being placed while you are on the screen,
yes.
Those folks are hearing in their little monitors, keep her on the screen.
Yes. Or go back and repeat it.
Wow.
Because whatever it is, it's working. Because you have, someone's not, QVC is 364 days a year, and it's 24-hour live TV. We're not on sales. And for a model, you're like, well, if I don't sell, I'm not back. If I don't strike, if I'm not valuable to that vendor, they're not going to have me back, because they want to sell the product.
Right. Two things just came to mind. First thing, a statement you said about the agents in New York, about there's not life in her eyes. So would you say that having life in your eyes is it's almost a career enhancement technique, to appear with life in your eyes?
Yeah, it's like a twinkle. It's like a twinkle, like somebody's home. I mean, I heard you say this morning on your podcast that, you can read when someone if they're having a rough life. I mean, you can look in someone's eye. I mean, they are the mirror to the soul. So you can see what's going on. You can sort of see if they're valueless. You can see if they have depth. You can kind of see if they have a heart, if you really, really look. And maybe I'm taking this way too far with QVC, but this is, I think I'm able to tell what I'm putting through the camera and what the viewer is seeing. And I'm thinking, could that be part of, why I'm still here? I don't know.
I like that. What's interesting is actors do a thing called method acting. So let's say you're doing portraying a role of somebody who is a police officer. You might do these ride-alongs with cops for several nights to see what they're going through. If you're doing a role as a person who has schizophrenia or something like that, you'll spend weeks in a psychiatric institution studying how actual patients are living and the emotions they go through. So the model's version of method acting is quite interesting. You're actually seeing what in your mind, what the viewer is seeing.
Right.
And you are providing for them what will grab their attention.
What I hope will. But it isn't just, if it's hair, it's a team. There's a hairstylist and, it's a team. But I think that maybe the girls that work there, we have the ability to help the sales by what's going on here.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you like doing more, makeup or hair shoots?
I like hair. As you get older, makeup's really hard, because those cameras get in there, and I know that's a natural evolution, but it's hard. It's hard. I know it's supposed to be okay. We're supposed to be okay with our age and everything, but that's the difficult part. Hair I like, and maybe because the camera's further back. I don't know.
Yeah. So you've had a chance to meet a lot of the top stylists in the world.
I have, and makeup artists and hairstylists, and it's really been very good. It's really been good. I've been lucky.
Yeah, definitely. What advice would you give to a young lady or a young man starting out in the field, and they got their fingers crossed, and they're wishing and hoping, and I always say that wishing and hoping isn't a strategy. You really need to make
Right.
action part of your strategy. What advice would you give them?
I think I pick a mentor. I find a model that you think is really good, a successful model, and watch what she does and know your craft. I mean, most people, and this is maybe a general statement, they think models are really dumb and really vacuous. But I disagree with that, because I'm number one, I'm educated, and it's a business sense. I mean, I created a business of myself. And I don't think that I could sustain it if I didn't have the knowledge and the education to know how to keep it going. Whether it's, maybe it's me, because I mean, I'd like to think I'm a good person, but if you hire me, you're probably going to get the most professional person ever. If it's wardrobe, I mean, I'll empty my closet. If we have a location thing, I will be carrying the cameras. I will be asking to carry the camera. If I need to be there at, 5 of 7 in the morning, or I need to be there at 7, I will be there at 5 of 7. If it's a sunrise to shoot and I need to be there at 4:30, I will be there. I have never, I show up, and I try and be professional, and I think that's it. I mean, I've heard agents where they book a model, she doesn't show. Like, what? Or they're late? No, you can't do that, because who would want to deal with that?
Yeah.
And the great thing about QVC, I have to say, and this is my favorite part, is the camaraderie of the women. I have met such incredible women. I mean, one girl is going to medical school. She's going to be an anesthesiologist. One is a what do you call the person that marries? What's the word? He marries people.
Oh, like an officiant,
Yes, yes. I mean,
yeah,
there's life coaches. There's some that are authors, and the conversations that we get in, maybe because we're older, is so wonderful. Like, we'll sit in the cafeteria with our hair in rollers, like 10 of us, just like the richest conversations. That's
yeah.
what I do now, during this pandemic, not having that. But like, I have met some really wonderful women. I really have. It's really been, that's been the gift of QVC on the back end, besides some products and maybe a nice haircut.
I have noticed that many times when they line the ladies up, they will have the 22-year-old,
Mm-hmm.
the 30-year-old, the 45-year-old, the 55-year-old, the 60-year-old,
Comes crawling out. No, just go ahead.
and they do a great job of showing beauty throughout the ages.
Mm-hmm.
What I do like about their casting is that it's not all 22-year-old fresh-faced girls.
Mm-hmm.
They're not afraid to put the mature woman on there.
Right. Because that is our demographic. That is QVC's demographic. I don't know if we have a lot of 20-year-olds watching. And personally, for me, I don't really want to see makeup on a 20-year-old. I would rather see how it works. I mean, she doesn't have any wrinkles. She doesn't have any under eye circles. She doesn't have any of that stuff. So I'd rather see it a before and after on a product that, might work for me. And that's for sure. That would make total sense to me, instead of the image of trying to have a younger viewer.
Yeah.
And maybe that'll happen in time. I don't know. People aren't shopping. I think the stocks at QVC are up a little bit. I would think home shopping is a good thing now.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that, because I thought people aren't going to stores now. I know for the holidays, for instance, I don't think I can remember. I'm trying to think of the last year that I actually went to a store and bought something like a Christmas present, because everything is now online. I'm just so tired of stores.
Right. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Christmas shopping is this year, depending on where everything goes.
Yeah, you're right. Hey, let's shift gears.
Okay.
You are living on a river. Beautiful, beautiful picture. I mean, I just think to myself, I would, like, for instance, when I am visiting my family down in Florida, I will do the show from the beach at sunrise in Florida. And I saw a picture on your Instagram the other day, and I thought, wow, I would do my show from there. It just looked so peaceful, and there was this fog on the water, and it looked quiet.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the animals are noisy, but it's great. It's so pretty. I mean, I have this house that that was built. I've been flooded 3 times, and I've had 5 feet of water in this home. And
Yes,
I moved here from New York City to sold my place after 9/11 because that was the fear of New York City and maybe the career was waning, and I moved here never even thinking about floods. But the house has been elevated, and they call people that live on the river rats, and I definitely am. I mean, my
yeah,
family has had the cottage next door for over 100 years. It started out as a lean-to in the woods. That was my
yeah.
mother's grandparents' parents, and then they lost it in each flood and sort of rebuilt it. And so after the third flood, I thought, no more, and I elevated it. So I'm actually higher up in the trees, and the river is down there. I mean, it's a higher drop. I have to be careful when I feed the ducks that I don't knock them out with the nuggets of corn. But but like I can, and this is really funny, and it's like my trick is that I can go on the river and I can make quacking sounds, and the ducks, George, come in from everywhere. People must think I'm crazy, but they do. They fly in, and like this was 2 winters ago. There was ice, like I don't know, maybe 100 yards out, and all the ducks came flying in, and they forgot there was ice, and they all came in and were like, zoom, zoom, and they were like, so how do I stop? How do I stop? It was like my favorite thing, and I wish I had my video camera. But there's so
Oh,
much on here. There's so much going on here, just with the animals. There's a beaver and the possums and the raccoons, and there's just like such wildlife. It's great. It's great. I mean, it just feeds my soul every morning. I think I'll never leave. I'll just never leave the river.
yeah. I kind of feel like Dr. Doolittle myself. I mean, I just
Why?
really, I could,
With cats or something? You had something that.
yeah, I've got, yeah, cats, and I've rescued everything from raccoons to possums to birds to deer to foxes. And
The best,
what's
right?
weird is I sit out there and they just come to me. They literally just come to
Yeah,
me. And
yeah.
I think
They
they
probably
know.
just they feel you.
Yes,
They feel
I
the energy
believe that.
quiet, and they just can come right to you.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
it does. It just fills your soul. Helping an animal or whatever. And there's so many. I never saw them in New York City.
Yeah. There's something about nature that I I need to have it as part of my life. I too was in the city for a while, and I like being out with nature. I like being working by myself. I'm on my laptop. I'm doing my show. I kind of enjoy the life of uh, solitude, peace and quiet, getting up early,
Hmm.
the world before it's awake.
Yes, yes. You'll see things that people, in nature, you'll see things that people are usually sleeping through.
Right.
To see that the sun come up the other morning and the colors of the sunset every morning, and to just see those converging air fronts. I mean,
Yeah.
like I kind of think it might be happening if it's really warm and there's cold, or just I can see the wind on the river. Can't
Yeah.
see the wind, but I can see it. I can see the gusts coming down, and I can see what the river's doing by the switching of the eddies. Like if I put a ball in the water there, I know that ball is going to go around and come back down because we're in an eddy. Because it's like a parade in the summer with people floating down the river, and they're like, "Why am I not going?" Like I've got 3 friends that are going down the river, and I have 2 that are going up. So I've got to tell them, "You got to get over in the next eddy, or you're going like you guys are going like this." So
Right.
you learn, it's like nature and science, and it's just the best. It's the best.
Yeah.
And feed your soul. I mean, I think without it, I'd die. I'd die. Really, it's even on the worst day, just nature can make it better. There's just some connection to it.
Yeah. It's like when I had said to you that even like when we're not waking up feeling all chipper and might be a little bit, a couple energy levels down,
Hmm.
just being with animals elevates your mood.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, yesterday was like sinking in the afternoon there, and then I was like, you know what? I'm going out in my yard. I'm going to get my hands in the dirt. It's like I took the gloves off, and I think we were trying to do this, but I was like, oh man, how do I tell them? I just want to get like muddy and dirty, and then I have to, I got to do this stuff, and you know what I mean? It's like I wanted to get in the dirt and just be, just get in the dirt, not have to, do this. But I was like, okay,
Yeah.
today
Right.
my planting and plowing is done. The model farmer, the farmer model.
I like that.
She's at a little stopping place here.
Where where does where does model stop and commercial actor start? What comes first?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Like, for instance, would you consider yourself a commercial actor or a model? There's a lot of people who are on camera, never open their mouth. And then there's the people who at least have a few lines or a word or something like that. And you've done both.
I have. I've really worked across the board. I've really been lucky. I mean, there was a period where I was doing a ton of industrials and a lot of voiceovers. I mean, I did the Rape of Nanking on the History Channel, and I was the first female narrator. And that was a big deal. I mean, I was so excited about that because it wasn't my happy voice. It was about some really horrible massacre. You know?
Yeah.
And, that was a coup for me to get that. And I've done some, narrations, a lot of narrations, medical narrations, and I animated a couple stuffed animals, and then commercials too. I've done full product commercials, oh my gosh, probably over 100. So I was really lucky. But now it's a little bit different because, I am SAG-AFTRA and there's a lot of non-union stuff. And so I've got to figure out where I fall, in there. I don't think Philadelphia has much union stuff. And I don't know what's going on with New York now. But, I really, as far as acting, I think I only did a small part on a soap opera. But I don't know. I mean, if I had the opportunity, I think I would just jump right in. I kind of, it's something about not being able to do it. And even this, George, to do this podcast, I'm like, oh, it's just a podcast. Just a podcast. But then it becomes, there's video too. And so, like, I was thinking, oh, man, this is really freaking me out. I got to say no. I got to say yes. And I had to kind of psych up to it. Like, I have to do this. Because I'm going to feel like $1,000,000 when this is done. And not that it's not great now, because it is. But it's just finding the fear and boom, right through it. You go through it. And then, boom, it's like you just get all elevated. It's great. It's great.
I like that. And I did find it ironic that a woman that has spent so much of her career in front of a camera was hesitant to do a podcast, but I get it. This is a totally different vibe, a different game than what you're usually used to.
Normally, I'm not paid to speak. I'm paid maybe to read a script. But you're asking me questions about, the personal side of Suzy Kilbanks, and I'm answering your questions. I don't know.
And
I think it was more about having to set up the lights and, cleaning up and getting out of the dirt and all that.
Yeah.
But, it's great. This is my first. You gotta bust through.
That's awesome.
That's what I'm doing. I'm busting through.
There are people that talk about a woman. I'll use the phrase that they use. It's not my phrase. A woman hitting the wall. And I have gotten ridiculed in the past for saying, I don't think a woman is true. Her true beauty doesn't come out until she's in her 60s. I mean, to me, that's what I think. And it's not just because I am now older myself.
Right.
I've always thought that way. Comment on that.
Well, I think, and it's still a work in progress, but I think older women start to get a little more comfortable in their skin and owning their own thoughts and just getting comfortable in their own skin. I have to say, I'm not in a relationship now, but when I was in a relationship, I would always try and maybe mold myself to that person. And if they didn't like something that I did, I would change it. And now I'm kind of free to be what I am. It's okay. It's okay that I like ducks, or that I have 2 dogs, or I have a 93-year-old mother that I care for, that I live on the river. All these things they're me, and I own them. I think they're awesome. And if I'm fortunate enough somewhere in life to find someone that would appreciate these and say, go and fly, instead of reeling me in. I think a woman doesn't want to be reeled in after a certain point.
Wow, that is profound.
Pardon?
That's very profound. Yes, it's funny because my days of changing for somebody are long gone. Those days are over with. And I've always said, imagine 2 people who have complete lives, all by themselves, and then they encounter each other. You don't have an empty space in your life. I don't have an empty space in my life. I'm not looking for anyone to fill a void. You're not looking for anyone to fill a void.
Mm-hmm.
You're just looking for a companion.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, I do all this stuff by myself. I'll learn how to do house projects. I'll, try and fix things. I just bought myself like a little girl drill thing, or, because I don't have someone to fix these things or help me do it. So I'm figuring all this stuff out. I'm not that helpless girl. I've never been, but it would be great if, like I have a pellet stove and I've got to carry up 40-pound bags of pellets, or just, I cut the grass. I do all these things. And I don't know that there's a gender to it. I just think that, I mean, I think you have to learn this stuff, but I would love to have a companion that would go out on the river with me. I mean, I kayak by myself, or I paddleboard by myself, or someone else that would be, that would enjoy those type of things too, that gets the river, that gets the sunsets, that gets, we had a party one time when there was a bunch of people and they were sitting with their back toward the river. And I didn't understand that.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You could be on the deck next door, where, I mean, it's the most really, where my mother lives next door is just like mine's good. Hers is magnificent. You just sit. You never leave a podcast if you ever sat there. You would never. You'd be doing them all day long. Your morning show go on for 10 hours. I mean, it's that spectacular. But yeah, you don't want someone to come into your life and take away your Georgeness.
Yes.
I mean,
you're right.
I don't think it's not a selfish thing, because I'm not talking about being totally, I am self-dependent, but it's not that I'm selfish or I wouldn't give or do. It's not that, but it's having to take away the parts of me that I've taken a long time to develop and own.
Yeah. All right. So here's a couple concepts that just came out in the past few minutes. Comfortable in your own skin. I like that. That's neat. And then taking ownership for what you are. I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you have to. Like, I probably won't change those things because they're intrinsic to my soul now, and they're mine and stand. You can't take nature away from me. That wouldn't be good. Or, the animals, or, just the things that I do. And they're not bad things. They're a part of who I am. So I think you'd have to understand those parts of me.
Yeah.
I have a 93-year-old mother. She's going to be 94, and she's a pisser. I was born on her birthday, and she is so much fun. I mean, she's having trouble hearing lately, but boy, she's feisty. And her father, died just short of 101. And, having her next door, and I say this to George, like, my mom is so awesome. Look, everyone really loves her. And if I get one more day, one more week, one more month with her, I am like the luckiest girl in the world. I lost my dad when I was 30 after a long, drawn-out cancer. But my mom's next door. And, and when you talk about, the light in the eyes, that's going to be a struggle for me when she's no longer here. That I will have that thing going on in my eyes. And I know it's coming, but, that'll extinguish something for a while.
Yeah. Well, I get a kick out of seeing you and your mom. I really do. And I wish that upon everybody, if it's at all possible. Just it's a whole different relationship when they are that old. It's really interesting.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can talk to her about so much. She went through the depression and, her parents and the depression. And I had to take the car keys away from her the other day. She went out to the store. She tricked me. She totally tricked me. Like, when I came back, her car was gone. And I knew. I was like, oh, no. She went to the Dollar Tree. She went to the Dollar General. She went to a hardware store. And it was that stimulus check in her pocket. I know it was burning a hole. I was so mad. Because you don't realize the risk of, like her cardiologist told her last Friday, said, and I've been telling her, she said, if you get the virus, you will die. And I said, can you say it again? And he said, if you get the virus, you will die. And she was stunned. Like, I will? And he said, yeah, I don't think your immunity is good enough at 93. And she was really shocked. And now she's a good little girl.
I mean, she lived through so much, though. Think about it. She feels like she's unstoppable. My God, she's lived through. I mean, think about the changes in the world in the past 93 years. She lived through that.
Yeah. Yeah. And her father, my pappy, was 101. We got the 100th birthday on the Today Show with, what's his name? Willard.
Yeah. Willard Scott, was it?
Yeah. Willard. Yeah. Whoever it was on the Today Show. And they put his picture up, today's birthday, Clayton. His name is Clayton D. Buss. And somehow in the mess of it, it was Clayton D. So we wheeled him in front of the television set because he had never seen a television set, and we showed him on, the VHS, and he looked at it and he saw it and he's like, "Oh hell, they forgot the D." And it was like, his name is Clayton D. Buss. It wasn't good enough that he was on TV on the Today Show. It was like, because it was Clayton Buss, he wanted the D there. It was like, it was just so rich. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. Those are really great things to talk to, older people about. I mean, they have just such wonderful stories and the things
Yeah.
they see. So,
Well, I made a statement last week. I said something about, jokingly, but maybe not, the best sex of my life. And people thought, and there was a period of silence, and they thought I was going to say like between 30 and 50. And I said, it's going to be between 61 and 105. And some people really saw the humor in that. And they said, whoa, like, you really think so? And I said, why not? I said, I'm not going to bury something that's not dead yet.
right.
So,
Yeah,
why,
I mean, I don't know. I guess
why do we have to say goodbye to something? I think life is for the living.
right.
Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna run a 6-minute mile anymore. Those days are over with. but I can run a 12-minute mile or a 15-minute mile.
That's enough.
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever been to the finish line of the New York City Marathon?
Yeah.
I mean, whoa, the things you see. I mean, it's like the people are half dead, and then days after they have this great color and they don't get their color back. It's like, why? Why do you have to run 26.2?
That is funny.
But yeah, no, 12 minutes. That's good. That'll work.
So how long does it take you to get to work from where you are? What is the commute like?
I leave 2 hours only because of traffic and trying to get through that mid-county interchange. But it's probably like an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
But I don't want I want to leave room for error. It's far. I mean, I've done like 1,000 or 1,200 miles a week with my car.
Wow.
Now it's a little better because it's just been quiet. I'm not going. I think I'm there this weekend. Yeah. So that's a heck of a commute.
It is.
It's fine. I mean, I don't think we spoke about this, but I had, before the pandemic, in the downtime from QVC, I had a pet sitting service, and it was incredible. I was so busy, but everybody's home, all the vacations canceled, and I kind of specialized in the medical dogs, like the diabetics. I take the blood and do the glucose curves, and I have a client, and both of the dogs are quadriplegic, or paraplegic, I'm sorry, and they're in wheelchairs, and you have to squeeze the bladders to get the poop and the pee out. But like that was filling the hole in between the QVC bookings. So that was really, I don't know, it's really spotty now, but it was firing on all guns. It was really great. So we'll see, where that goes. That's another piece of, what I do to keep my sanity in between, being on camera.
Yeah. Right. Well, like you said, you just want to work, and I think that's admirable.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you're working during this, but everything for me stopped on a dime. All the dog visits canceled. QVC was, and there was just time and lots of it. And at first I was like, oh man. And then you realize, I was always running around like a chicken with my head cut off. Just gotta go here, gotta do this, gotta do that, gotta go, run. And all of a sudden I have time. And I think it's pretty darn cool. I have time to be with my mom. I have time to just read, just time, unadulterated time. And this may be the first time in a really long time. So that's the upside, I think, of this pandemic, because I do believe, it'll all come back eventually. But, a lot of people are still working and they didn't really feel it. But for a lot of us, we just had big old nothing.
Yeah. So you are living on a river in a home that's elevated. So you climb stairs to get to where you live.
Yes.
You're just up and down stairs. Everything is on the second floor, right?
Yeah, when they elevated the house, they had to bring up all the ways to get to it. So the house was, it was 7 feet. It was elevated. So everything was extended. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm up here in the trees.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fine before, but it's, now I'm up here in the trees. It's a longer walk down to the river, but that's okay. I mean, I don't think it's coming in my house again, because if it does, we need an ark. Everybody.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I had sunnies on my living room floor. I mean, I had a school of sunnies in my living room when the river finally left my house. Like,
Wow.
I kind of wish I had my kayak across the street so I could open my front door and just stop through and check them out.
That's great.
But I don't think that'll happen again. But then since with what's going on, I don't know. Maybe anything's possible.
Yeah.
Hope not. So.
There are some areas up near your area, like River Road above New Hope and all that, going up into York County, where there are some cliffs along the river. It's one of my favorite areas to ride the motorcycle. And every time there was a flood, somebody would put a line and like 1986, like on the side of the cliff, and I would see all these watermarks every time there was a flood, and that was always interesting. And I'd be sitting there on my motorcycle, and I'd stop, and I'm counting, and I'm like, wow, that water was actually like this high.
Yeah.
I mean, above where I'm at right now. So,
yeah. I mean, even the insurance, the flood adjuster that came here, he stood over the deck and he's like, wait, you mean to tell me that river was in this house? And I'm thinking, you're the flood adjuster? Like, what? Hello?
Right.
So I think he had a little bit of an education too.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah. Oh, that's. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh boy, 5 years. Well, I'll still be here. I'll still be on the river. That I know. I think that I'll still be at TBC. They'll still have me. But I don't know what else I would. I don't know what else I want to develop in myself. I really like the animals. I don't know what I would do with that. I don't really know. It would be probably something to do with others, helping others. I kind of enjoy. I cook at the homeless shelter once a month, or did before the pandemic, and that was very fulfilling. I'm in a good place right now. I'm kind of happy with the way things are. I mean, at what point do you just kind of live with what you like and just not really develop anything else? Just kind of be where you are, and just really hope there's not too many changes. Because I don't know for you, but this pandemic it's a little scary. It's a little scary. Like, I don't believe anybody really knows where we're going. I hope really good things. But, if you hear someone like, Dr. Fauci, who's a virologist, talk about in his 49 years, he's never seen anything like this.
Yeah.
That's frightening. I think we're all just going, day to day. And so I think in that way, I've become very short-sighted about, I'm happy for tomorrow, and I'm happy that my friends are safe tomorrow, and my mother is still here. So right now, it's a little harder to go 5 years out.
Yeah.
I think I've just reeled things into the things that are around me and that I have that are important, and I just want to keep them close until we're in the clear, whenever that is.
I like that. I see somebody in the background there. Who is that?
Who is that? It's a mess, is what it is. It's a mess. I've been cutting my own dog's hair. It's bad. The groomer's coming. I think she's maybe coming whenever this is over. But
oh, that's funny.
That's Winnie, and then there's another one down here on the floor. That's she's out. There's two of them, and they're my buddies. They just hang with me, and they fill me up. Don't pay attention to the person back there, the dog back there.
I love it. That's great. I got
these dogs. They're just poo mixes, but one Bella on the floor, she's like a yellow cream color dog, and I purposely picked out Winnie because she was black and brown. And somewhere when she lost her hair, she turned white. So I have two dogs that look exactly alike. This is really funny. I never expected that. I thought one was going to be black and one was going to be white. So you never know what you're getting.
Yeah, that's right. Well, thanks for joining us today. It was a good chat with you. Maybe we'll do the Daybreak show from the river one of these mornings as the sun is coming up, and that would be glorious.
Yeah, it's pretty spectacular that day. You know, just that it's not overcast, but yeah, it's pretty cool.
Excellent. And I'll bring my tire tube with me.
Oh yeah. We may have a couple. Yeah.
Okay.
Or two. So, but yeah, this was
excellent.
Great. You know, I did it. I did it, George.
Feel the fear and just blow right through it. Right? You did great. Thank you, Suzy. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much. I'll talk to you soon. All right. Bye.